Julia M. Spencer, real estate investor, advisor, and enthusiast. And my website is www.juliamspencer.com. The M stands for money. And in this short video, I'm analyzing a specific property that one of my friends had asked me to look at to see if it's a good deal to invest in. And this particular friend of mine is looking into flipping, and he asked my advice on this property. So I'm going to go really quickly through these forms that he had sent me and to see what I thought of this deal. Now, overall, my analysis of this is that it's a deal. It's an okay deal, but there's a little bit more information that needs to be found, and also there's a couple things that I'm a little bit concerned about at this point. So I would probably question some of this. So let's look at it first. He sent me basically a couple of files, and namely he sent me 4 files, and one of them was, the first one was the comps, and the comps is actually right here of this property in Chicago. It looks like it's a 4-bedroom, 2-bath, 2,100 square feet house, built in 1899, so it's a very old house. This is the list price. This looks like a MLS listing or comps from some sort of MLS website or a realtor. So that right away tells me that the property's been on the market for a while, which may mean that it's been a stale product that's been sitting on the market for a while. So I don't know where he got this information from, or if this is something he plugged into his own software. My question would be, with comps, you have to be very careful analyzing comps. And it looks like the comps are divided into what has been sold, what is pending to be sold, and what is active. And you can see this is all retail sales. Retail tells me that's full market price. There's no discount. There's no short sale. It's not a foreclosure. It's not anywhere where there's already some equity built into the property. It's basically retail price. Anybody and everybody can walk up and buy these properties for these prices, these ones below that are active. That being said, it looks like all the prices are somewhere between $295,000 and all the way up to $749,000. And it looks like they are sorted by price. And so what we're looking at is mainly this days on the market, which means how many days it took to sell these properties. And it looks like these pending ones have been on the market forever, like almost a year for these two to sell. But it looks like the ones that have been sold have not sat that long, maybe a month for this one. This one maybe 2 months, a little bit more than 2 months, and right around 2 to 3 months looks like on these. But these ones that are being sold, you can see the range of the days on the market is just really wide range. You have six days, and some of them have been sitting there forever. So this is really difficult. This is a really difficult analysis here because this doesn't tell me a trend of any kind. And it looks like also that this is the same property right here, so I'm not really understanding. This is the same address, same square footage. It looks like the days on the market are different here, so I'm not sure. I think this is what this tells me, is that they had it on the market for 48 days and then they reduced the price, and now it's been on the market for 21 more days for the same property. So there's been a price reduction here on this really high-end one. The other ones, it looks like, let's look at the square footage here first. It looks like there's also a wide variety of when the houses were built. There's some really old ones. There's a new one. The new one's been on the market too for almost 3 months. But it's really hard to tell from these comps how fast a property in this area would sell. It's also really hard to tell, and this is 10 bedrooms. That's kind of weird. So it just looks like, if I look into 295, this is what I would see, is 295K, and I look, there's the one that's the closest is 260, was on the market for 40 days, and the next one after that 71 days. These price, and then there's one that's even cheaper for 199K that was on the market for a long time, really long time, like 7 months. So this is these comps are all over the place. There is no trend here. So you could get lucky and sell your property in 3 months if it's priced right, or else it can sit forever like some of these. So this is I would be scared of these comps. These comps don't tell me much information. This is where you need to find out and go to a realtor and ask a realtor, is like, what do you think of these comps? Give me an analysis. Tell me what is the no kidding expectation that I need to have for this property, or even ask a realtor. And they may or may not know this, and may have information of this because they may have shown some of these houses. But look at these houses that have been on the market for very few days versus these ones that have been on the market forever. And ask a realtor, are there any special features that the faster selling ones had? And then if you're going to flip in this area, you're going to want to make sure you put those features in there that people are looking for. So you don't want to belong to the long day groups here. You want to belong to the, to the 6 day, or in this case, this is active retail. So you want to belong to this way. But it looks like for the ones that are sold or even are pending, 40 days is the lowest amount of time that something has sat. But again, this is hard to compare because it looks like it's a much bigger house. It has 3,149 square feet. Or, sorry, it's 1,800 square feet. The lot is 3,149, so it's actually smaller. And that's it. It's also cheaper. The square footage, dollars per square footage, is 144, well, as what we're looking at here is in a different range. So anyway, this comp report doesn't tell me much. I would definitely talk to a realtor. Find somebody that's experienced in the area and has been working in the area for a long time, because this raises some red flags to me because there's no trend here. So that's what I would say about this one. The next file would be the property profile. So let's just not download it. That's not what I wanted to do, but property profiles right here. So this is a picture from Google Maps, presumably. Just from the picture, I don't know if this is a great area, but I can see that there is power lines going over the street, power lines coming from the street to the house, if this is a house. And there's like a really long cable running for the satellite dish here, and it just looks like, it doesn't look like a really good neighborhood. To me, it doesn't look like a good neighborhood. All the better neighborhoods usually have the power lines buried on the ground. This is an older area, so, and I don't know the Chicago market, so this might be a very good area. But these are some of the things that I'll look at. Also, it looks like this picture may have been taken in the winter time. Maybe I don't see anything greenery or grass or anything, so it would definitely be useful to go to the property and look at it inside and outside, and take some very detailed pictures and have it possibly even analyzed by a property inspector. It costs about $500 to get a property inspector to come out there and give you a really good report of what you're looking at. And also you could possibly get a realtor to give you like a over the hand kind of like a provisional appraisal of what the property is actually worth. So this is obviously from the MLS, so you'd be paying retail. There's no equity already built in this purchase. This is all the information we already had. Looks like a very small lot, by the way. but I guess that's how it is over in the Chicago market. 2 stories. The one thing with 2 stories is they're kind of more difficult to rehab a lot of times because you're dealing with 2 types of floors, and I presume there's a basement also. And so I'm not familiar a lot with 2-story houses. Most of the houses that I own are 1-story, and there's a little bit more difficulty with 2-story houses and rehabbing them, simply because it's usually a taller house, which you have to climb up on the roof, and if you have to fix something, it's just more difficult. You need more equipment, you need some scaffolding, you need anything that's outside is more difficult in a 2-story house anyways. So that might raise the rehab price more than what your estimate is. This right here, that's humongous. That's humongous. That's a huge tax estimate. I don't know where this information came from. It's this would be scary to me, because if you are rehabbing, obviously you go in for the quickest turnaround, and I think from one of the other documents that I saw, you're taking about 8 or 9 months to rehab. So take this number right here and divide this number by 12 and multiply it by the months that you think that your particular project is going to take, and you're going to have to shell out that amount, and in fact that's probably even going to be part of your closing cost in order for you to close on this house and hold it until it's sold. And on top of that, if I may just make that really quick calculation, 27,660. Let's see, 20,660 divided by 12. That's how much your taxes are per month. That seems quite high. But multiply that by the 8 months of holding time for the flipping project, you're out $18,000. I don't know if that was calculated into the profit margin that you calculated later, and that's something to definitely check on, because I'm not really sure if that was part of it or not. But that's a huge cost right here, and obviously it goes up every month that there's a delay or some issues. The other thing that I was going to say about that is I do not know what the time frame is of when this flipping project is supposed to begin. So, and I'm not familiar with the weather situation up there in Chicago, but there's just certain things that cannot be done in the wintertime in Chicago. And I'm thinking of heavy snow and heavy cold weather spells and freezing temperatures. So it has to be very carefully planned when an offer is being made on this house, and the timeline has to be watched and basically policed very carefully because of that. Because if you have a delay all of a sudden, not because of anybody doing a bad job, your contractors or you yourself or anything else, the weather can strike you really badly, and every month that is delayed, this particular cost right here, as well as the mortgage cost that you have to pay every month, is just going to kick this whole project into a different dimension where it's not profitable anymore. And yeah, so I guess this amount here was calculated with these things. So it also says it's an unfinished basement, so I'm not sure if the basement is calculated into the square footage. That's something I would ask for. Of course, always if you add square footage and the price stays the same in your remodeling, you have to kind of choose which things are you going to put most of your efforts into. And that makes it a cheaper house per square footage, which makes it more attractive for buyers to buy. So you always want to go for more space, less fanciness, and more space when you're rehabbing in order to get the most profit. And we are 6 pages of this, so let's look at the other pages here. I think there was a breakout of this ballpark estimate later on, so I'll look at that. Mortgage information, there's no information here yet. By the way, if the lender is Bank of America and this is a bank-owned property, Bank of America sometimes has some loans where they put the construction estimate amount into the mortgage loan, so they give you like an allowance for construction or for rehabbing. So you may want to ask them. I know Wells Fargo is another one that does that. Those big lenders have programs like that. You have to ask your loan processor person and see what kinds of information they would need for that. So that wouldn't. I don't know where you had expected to take the $120,000 from for the rehabbing, for the repairs, but it would be useful to inquire whether that can be calculated into the loan of purchase, so it doesn't have to be laid out in front of everything, out of pocket.